Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs which appeared in our Hindu on 5th and as well as 6th October guys. So let's get started. So now let us see the first article. So I found this image in international edition in the front page guys. So this image which is mainly talking about one important tunnel. So if you are getting this kind of images in the front page, so there is a very high chance of getting your prelims based question on this tunnel. So let us see some facts. So actually it is talking about Atal Tunnel in Rohtang. Kullu receives first snowfall of season on Sunday. So this article is saying that winter is coming. So as you all know that after this monsoon, this winter season gets started, and especially you know the speciality of India. So India is having Himalayas and it will be receiving snowfall, right? So here in this Rohtang area, in this Atal tunnel, so it received the first snowfall of the year. So here what you have to see is, you have to see two important things. First one is you have to see about this Atal tunnel. And second one is you have to see about the seasons. So from this Atal tunnel, you can get geography based question. Especially here you can expect prelims based question. And from the seasons, it is from your GS paper 1 under geography. Especially see about Indian seasons. And whenever you're saying about the seasons topics, just see about what are the characteristics of those seasons. And you have to see about important crops which are also grown in this region. And because of this season, what are the significance of the seasons? So why we need these seasons? And next one is, whenever you're starting your geography, you will be seeing about sun, planets, and this kind of image that you'll see. So this position is called as equinox position. And here we have summer solstice and winter solstice. So here you have to see what is a major reason for this formation of seasons in our country or on our earth. It is because of revolution. So here you have to see about even the basics of rotation and as well as revolution. So what are the impacts of this rotation and revolution is also very important, that you will see in your 6th and 7th class of NCERT, but it is not given in your 11th and 12th class. So if you are very like beginner and you don't know anything about geography, so start from 6th to 12th NCERTs guys. So many of them they'll say that 11th and 12th NCERTs is enough, but this kind of basics like this equinoxes, summer solstice, winter solstice will be not covered in your 11th and 12th NCERTs. So if you want to get a brief idea about this seasons, you have to see this 6th and 7th class NCERTs guys. Okay, so all these things that you have to see, because every year there will be a question regarding this equinox or summer solstice or winter solstice or June 21st. So like that you will be getting questions on this kind of diagram which is there directly in your NCERT. So you have to know about this case. Okay, now let us see some facts regarding this Atal tunnel. Atal tunnel is known as Rohtang tunnel, very important. Rohtang tunnel, and it's the world's longest high altitude tunnel. And why it is called as high altitude? Because it is located at an elevation of approximately 3,100 meters above the sea level. And very important point here that you have to make a note, it is located in Pir Panjal range of Himalayas. And next one here is, it is very important because it is connecting two important areas, Manali to Lahul and Spiti Valley throughout the year. Okay, and especially around 6 months it will be receiving this snowfall. At that time there will be certain disruptions, but even though we can consider this tunnel as very important connecting link between Manali to Lahul and Spiti Valley guys. Okay, and let us see the next article. See the title, Suicide Prevention Helplines in Marathwada start buzzing amid significant losses to region's farmers. So this article is talking about one important burning issue of our country, that is suicides. Okay, so this article is talking about suicides. So if you see the data or statistics in India, so who will commit suicide? The first one is farmers in India. Second one, commonly we can see in the news is students commit suicide. And third one is women. And actually this topic is very important from your Indian society point of view, which comes under your GS paper 1 under mains case. Actually UPSC already asked question regarding women in 2024. So what was that mains question was like, there is increased trend of women committing suicides. So what are the reasons like that? And here everyone knows about farmers, but we are expecting that there might be a question regarding this suicides related to students in your mains. But this article is talking about especially suicides of farmers. And that too they said one important region, that region is Marathwada. Very important. And this article is important not only from society guys, so even you have to see this topic from your GS paper 1 under geography. Why this Marathwada is called as suicide capital of India? So actually this Marathwada is called as suicide capital. You may get a question like that. Marathwada is commonly called as suicide capital in India. What are the reasons behind it? Or else you may also get a question like, what are the steps taken by the government to control that? Or what measures can be taken to prevent this? So like that you will be getting questions. So what exactly you have to see is, you have to collect the data of farmers suicides in India and especially related to this Marathwada region. And next you have to see what are the reasons behind these deaths. Why farmers are committing suicides? And next you have to see geography of this Marathwada. And next one is you have to see what are the measures taken by the government so far, and you have to give your own suggestions like way forward guys. And actually why these farmers commit suicide? If they are getting good agriculture produce, if they are getting good income, will they commit suicide? No, obviously no. That means this region is a drought prone region. Okay, so why it is drought prone? So normally our country's agriculture is called as rain-fed agriculture. That means most of our agriculture is dependent on rainfall. That too based on monsoon rainfall. So is this monsoon evenly present, or it causes even rainfall across the country? No, not at all. So if you see the pattern of movement of winds, so here we have equator, right? 0 degrees is our equator. So normally what happens, ITCZ, Intertropical Convergence Zone, which is moving towards northwards. It is exactly above this Tropic of Cancer. And here we can see formation of low pressure because of high temperature. So as you all know that according to pressure gradient force, PGF, winds always move from high pressure region to low pressure region. So comparatively, with this Tropic of Cancer, with this equator, we will be having high pressure here. And if you move furthermore down, here we have Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn is also having high pressure. So from here to here, the winds move. So whenever winds are moving in this direction, because of this Coriolis force, in this north hemisphere, winds will be deflecting towards right direction. And what happens here, we have Arabian Sea branch, here we have Bay of Bengal branch. This region will be getting good rainfall, this northeastern part will be getting rainfall, and whenever monsoons are progressing towards north, the amount of moisture which is carried by these winds will be reduced, and here we will be having less rainfall. So actually this Marathwada region is also getting very less rainfall. So because of this, it is affecting agriculture productivity. There is no water, there is no irrigation facilities properly, and because of this, there is loss of livelihood for farmers, and finally they will commit to this suicides. So because of this, you have to know about what is the geography of that region which is leading to that kind of disaster. Okay, so now let us see this article clearly. So actually Marathwada, it is a drought prone region in state of Maharashtra, and it is often dubbed as suicide capital because of chronic agriculture distress. And recently in 2025, what happened? Something new happened. Something unexpected happened in this 2025. That something unexpected is there is heavy rainfall in the month of September. So because of this, there is devastating floods. And what happened? There is devastation of this croplands and livelihoods of these farmers. That led to increasing of suicides. So actually government and as well as NGOs came up with one suicide helpline. So to that suicide helpline, there is increased distress calls. So that is why it is in news. Okay, now let us see some more important details. So what are the root causes of this distress now? So especially we have droughts, debt, and low crop prices, and as well as there is very high suicide rates in this region. Especially there will be thousands of deaths or suicidal deaths in this region, which is reported every year. But 2025 floods gave a shock for these people, and that led to increasing of vulnerability in this region. So the important reason here is there is floods. Why? Because of sudden cloud burst. So recently IMD also came up with a report that there is increasing of many cloud bursts. It is nothing but less than, it is around 5 to 10 centimeters of rainfall within 1 hour within 10 square kilometers of area. So there is increasing of cloud burst, that is especially mini cloud burst. And next one here is there is also changing of climatic patterns that we can see. So because of this, not only drought, now what happened? Now there is flash floods. Actually, the people in that region, they had mentally prepared that yes, this region will be having drought, so we have to go for growing of native crops so that that will be like resistant to the droughts. But suddenly, because of this cloud burst, because of this heavy rainfall floods, everything had been slashed. And next one here is farmers, they also not have any crop insurance. So because of this, yes, people, they are losing lot of the things, whatever they invested in this input in the agriculture, that they are getting lost. And even many animals also had been flooded in this flash floods. And next one here is the one more important problem here is there is inadequate flood warnings in this region, and even there is very poor infrastructure. And because of this flood, because of this flash floods, this region had been disconnected with the mainland also. So because of this also, yes, there is lots of impacts. And one more thing here is in this contaminated water, especially during this flash floods, so animals, they also got one disease called as lumpy skin disease. Especially cattle will be getting affected with this lumpy skin disease, and because of this disease, the animals' milk production will be getting decreased, and not only that, it will be also leading to the abortions in these animals. Okay, so because of this, not only agriculture loss, but even loss of cattle, and even loss of income from this dairy products, and even loss of their livelihood, everything happened. So because of this, there is increased suicidal calls to this helpline number. And now let us see, actually there is one step which is taken by the government recently for the students. Please make a note. So government came up with one app called as Never Alone app. Never Alone app for suicidal prevention in students, that you have to see. And even you may also get directly a prelims based question. Recently Never Alone is seen in news. What is it? It is an AI based app. AI based app to identify suicide like symptoms based on the behavior of the students, and they will be giving alerts. Okay, now let us see the next article, see the title, guys. And if you see our today's newspaper, the front page, the very big article, it is about many people died in this torrential rainfalls in this Bengal region and as well as Bihar region. And again, one more article which is very much relevant to that. It is not in India, it is in Nepal. So as you all know that India and Nepal are sharing border. So here we have our Nepal, right? So in this northern part here, there is very heavy rainfall. So because of this, the states here, Indian states had been got affected. and even Nepal got affected. And if you see the topography here, what we have? Trans Himalayas, Greater Himalayas, Lesser Himalayas. Like that we have ranges of Himalayas here. And not only that, if you see the important rivers, we have here which river system? Here we have Indus river system, and here we have Ganga river system. And from here, lots of tributaries will come from this Himalayas, and it will be joining this river Ganga system. So here, if you see this image clearly, so here we have Himalayas. And next one here we have peninsular rivers or Himalayan river system. And next one here is, this region is very highly tectonically unstable or inactive. It is very active region. So here we can see earthquakes, frequent earthquakes, landslides or avalanches, etc. So because of all these things, Himalayas are there. Because of climate change, what is happening here? There is increased water level in the Himalayan rivers, and there are many perennial rivers are there. Okay, perennial rivers or Himalayan rivers, there is very high flow of water in these rivers because of this heavy rainfall, and this region is very active because of this plate movements. And as you all know that Indo-Ocean plate is moving towards this northwards even today. So because of this region is not stable, it is active region. So because of this we can see frequent landslides. So because of all these three reasons, the states in Indian side and as well as Nepal got affected in the recent past. So that was there in the news case. So here you have to see why this Nepal is very much vulnerable. Why Nepal is vulnerable? Because of Himalayas, because of rivers, because of landslides. So now if you go back to the article, it is saying that as first responder, India remains committed to assisting Nepal, says Modi. So actually this article is mainly talking about our Prime Minister. He came up with a pledge. So in this pledge, he want to support this Nepal from this monsoon disaster. Monsoon caused disaster in this Nepal now, and our country is helping this Nepal to come out of this disaster. That is this article. And this topic is very important from your GS paper 1 under geography, because you will be studying about this monsoons, right? And apart from that, you will be studying about this Himalayas, you will be studying about not only Himalayas, but even you will be studying about this mass movements also. So from that point of view, you have to see this topic from geography, and it is causing a disaster. Many people died in Nepal, not only in Nepal, but even the states are bordering with this Nepal also in the same situation we are in. So here loss of property, everything happened. So you have to see from this GS paper 3 point of view as well, that is from disaster management. So if you see the context, it says that Indian Prime Minister issued a public statement expressing deep condolences for devastating heavy rains, landslides and flash floods that struck Nepal. And actually India came forward to help this as part of neighborhood first policy, and India want to showcase that we are the first responder for this kind of providing humanitarian assistance for the nearby countries. And if you see the details, it is saying that Nepal is highly vulnerable to climate related disasters because of mountainous terrain, and even there is very high intense monsoon rainfall, and that led to the landslides, flash floods, river overflows. So because of this, multiple districts across this India and Nepal border got affected. So what happened here? First one is landslides, heavy rainfall, flash floods, and there is increased water flow in these rivers. So because of this, what happened? Multiple districts across these rivers had been got affected. And why India is coming forward to help as a first responder? So first one here is, yes, Nepal's geography, steep slopes, seismic activity. So everything we are also sharing the same. So as you all know that, we can understand about that pain if it comes to you. So normally there is a famous saying, if this problem that comes to you, then only you can understand what is the intensity of that problem. So in the same way here, because of this sharing of topography between India and Nepal, so India can understand this kind of disasters. So because of this, India wants to help such kind of country. And next one here is not only this is not only the first time, even in 2015 also Nepal affected with a very devastated earthquake. So at that time also India launched Operation Maitri. So in the same way here we wants to help this Nepal once again. And this one here is India have one foreign policy called as neighborhood first policy, and under this policy India prioritizes South Asian countries, and especially we always view this Nepal as a brother nation because we are sharing culture, Hindu Buddhist heritage, and even Nepal is one of the good trading partner of India, and even we'll get hydroelectricity from this Nepal, and even to counter this China as part of this BRI also we need help of this Nepal. So for all these reasons, so India came forward as a first responder. And what are the impacts of this kind of relief? So first one here is we are going to provide humanitarian aid so that we can improve the bilateral relations. And not only that, here because of this quick infrastructure fixes, and whenever we are making everything normal, then it will be also helpful for both of these countries' economy. And in the long term, we can improve our bilateral relationship between India and Nepal. And even we can promote transboundary cooperations, and as well as we can also share some early warning systems later on. And not only that, we can also support this border states like Bihar, which had been affected a lot because of this torrential rainfall now. So these are the things that you have to see, guys. And now let us see the next article. Title says CRPF gives out over 10,000 radio sets in Basta. So this article is one of the important article, and you can use this title as an example, like what are the measures taken by the government to control Naxalism in our country. So this article is talking about one important topic in your syllabus, that is Naxalism. Okay, Naxalism is also called as left-wing extremism or Maoism. Maoism, left-wing extremism and Naxalism are same thing. And in your syllabus of GS paper 3 under security, you will be seeing this topic, guys. And actually, yes, because of this Naxalism, there is no proper development, and the important ideologies of this Naxalist is to overthrow the government. Okay, so if they wants to overthrow the government, and if they are fighting against government, we can't maintain law and order in that region. So because of this, recently our Union Home Minister, he made a statement that we are going to eliminate Naxalism in India by 2026. So because of this, states which are affected by this Naxalism or Maoism, it is called as Red Corridor. So if you draw the map, so here this region is affected by this Naxalism. So this is Red Corridor region. So this Red Corridor region, related states, they came with lots of operations, lots of steps. For example, AP came up with this Cobra battalion. So like the different states came up with their own strategy to eliminate this Naxalism. Okay, so actually the target of our country is to eliminate this Naxalism by 2026. So as part of this, now the government came up with one important initiative, that is now CRPF, that is Central Reserve Police Forces, they distributed more than 10,000 radio sets in remote Naxal violence affected areas of Bastar. In which state? Chhattisgarh state. Why? They want to promote public campaign. As a part of this public campaign, to promote national integration and move locals away from Maoist ideology. So if they are getting this kind of radios, if they are listening about the news like what government is doing, so which kind of developmental activities they are coming up with, so what is Maoist ideology, if they are getting aware, so these people, they will not support this Maoist people. So if this local people are not supporting this Maoist, it will be very easy to end this Maoism in our country. So as part of public campaign, our government came up with this distribution of more than 10,000 radio sets in this Bastar region, which is affected by this Maoism. So exactly whenever you are writing about any answer regarding what are the steps taken by the government to control this Naxalism in India, you can add this point there. Okay, today I'll give you the mains question regarding this itself. So you can add this mains question, point in that government measures, guys. And now let us see the next article. Title says, British and Indian warships begin 4-day maritime exercise Konkan in Indian Ocean. So this article is talking about exercise Konkan. So I am saying repeatedly one thing, like you have to keep last 2 to 3 pages only for this exercises, and I said you have to make a box format. Exercise name, which and which country, it is Navy or Air Force or Army exercise, and in which region, what is the aim. So if you are making this kind of table format, it will be very easy. Because in 2024, there was a question in your prelims regarding that. They gave 3 statements regarding one exercise, and they asked you to identify correct or incorrect statements. So in that point, it is very, very important. Okay, so actually this article is very important from your GS paper 3 under security point of view. Apart from that, you can also connect it from GS paper to international relations, and you can expect prelims based question. So whenever you're writing any answer regarding this India-British relations, there you can add this point. Yes, we are having exercises that is called as exercise Konkan. It is a maritime exercise. So now let us see some facts regarding this. So exercise Konkan, it is annual bilateral maritime exercise. It is between UK and as well as India. So why? To improve interoperability and as well as to come up with joint maritime operations and to increase mutual understanding between the countries. So when it was started in year 2004. Okay. And it is mainly important because it is aligning with this India-UK Vision 2025. So what is the vision between India and UK is to promote free, open and rule-based seas across Indo-Pacific region. And in this exercise, we have 2 phases. So first one will be at harbor phase, second one it will be at inside the water phase. At harbor, we will focus on professional interactions, we will focus on cross-deck visits, sports, cultural events, etc. In the sea phase, whenever they're going into the water, so in water they will be doing certain exercises or certain things like anti-air, anti-surface, anti-submarine warfare, and even they will be checking their flying operations and what are their abilities, what are their weaknesses. They will be also seeing all those things in this water phase. And let us see the next article. Title says, Philippines pioneers coral larvae cryobank to protect threatened reefs. So this article is talking about very, very important and one of the favorite area of UPSC, that is coral reefs. So we'll be studying about these coral reefs in 2 subjects. First one is it in your geography and second one is it in environment and ecology. So here you have to see about some basics. What is a coral? What is zooxanthellae? And types of corals. We have 3 types of corals: fringing corals, barrier corals, atolls. And next you have to see in India where these corals are located. And you have to see Andaman and Nicobar Islands, because Nicobar is based on this corals, Andaman is not. Okay. And this one is you have this Lakshadweep. Lakshadweep is made up of these coral islands. And next you have to see what are the conditions for the formation of corals. On these conditions already UPSC asked question. In which conditions these corals will be formed. And next you have to see what are the threats for these corals. And next you have to see what are the government measures so far. And next you have to think about way forward. So this article is talking about one idea. Through this idea, they want to focus on conservation of corals. So actually you know that there is increasing of temperature because of climate change, global warming. Because of this global warming, there is increasing of sea water temperature. So because of this, what is happening here? Zooxanthellae is expelling these corals. So because of this, it is causing coral bleaching. Coral bleaching is nothing but the colorful corals, they will be converting into pale white. I'll show you the image. So if you see this image, you can see clearly that, so this colorful corals will become white, pale color. So what happens whenever this zooxanthellae which is living inside that corals, that will be giving them vibrant colors. So because of this vibrant colors and because of this corals, it is also very helpful for our economy because it will be attracting more tourists into our country. And even this region is very rich in biodiversity. Because of that, they are called as rainforest of oceans. So if the coral bleaching happens, we can't expect tourists, and even there will be losing of biodiversity there. Everything will happen here if there is coral bleaching. So actually, what is this article talking is about? So we are going to collect this coral larvae and we are going to store it at a very low temperature. And whenever there is any sign of this coral bleaching, we are going to release that larvae into that region, so that what happened, there will be recovery of that coral. So this is the idea of this article, guys. Okay, so this article is saying that Coral Triangle is home for more than 3/4 of world's coral species. And actually, this region is very much rich in this biodiversity as well. But now it is having danger because of increased carbon dioxide emissions. Because of increased carbon dioxide emissions, what is happening? Increased global warming, increasing of temperature. This corals will not sustain in this very high temperature. And even we are using destructive fishing mechanisms and even pollution. So whenever we are releasing this sewage water or polluted water directly into this sea water, what happens? This corals will not sustain in this turbid water. So they will also die. And next one here is because of climate change, furthermore destruction is happening. So here now we are focusing on conservation of these corals, and we are going to preserve this coral larvae by using liquid nitrogen at minus 196 degrees centigrade. And we are going for a rapid freezing of this larvae. So, and we are going to save them for the future. And if there is any signs of this coral bleaching, and we are going to release that larvae in that region, so that we can go for revitalizing of that corals. That is the thing this article is saying. And this article is saying not only this scientist or not only this technology is helpful for this conservation of corals, even communities, they plays a very important role in the saving of these reefs. So we have to go for community engagement, and we have to go for awareness about the corals in this community, so that they will be actively participating in this conservation efforts. So this is the thing which mainly said here in this article, guys. And it's very important article, so please make note down of this title, so that whenever writing any answer regarding this corals, you can write that recently this Philippine based scientist came up with this technology of storing of this coral larvae by using liquid nitrogen at minus 196 degrees centigrade, so that we can use it for the later. This technology is called as cryobanks. Okay, so please make a note, cryobank. So cryobank is nothing but whenever we are storing something at a very low temperature, that is called as cryo. Okay. And please make a note of this first paragraph as well. Amazon of seas, the coral triangle is 5.7 million square kilometers expanse across the tropical waters of Indonesia, Malaysia, Papua New Guinea, Philippines, Solomon Islands, and Timor-Leste. So this paragraph is very important. So here you may get a question like this. Recently, coral triangle is in news. Which of the following comes under this coral triangle? At least you have to remember all these areas: Indonesia, Malaysia, Papua New Guinea, Philippines, Solomon Islands, and Timor-Leste. And it is around 5.7 million square kilometers area. And this coral triangle is also called as Amazon of the sea. So while you are writing any answer regarding these corals, you can use this as introduction as well. Okay, so for that kind of things, this data is very important. Okay, now let us see the next article. Title says, why AD are crucial for India's courts. Very important topic from your polity point of view, guys. So here title is ADR. ADR is nothing but alternate dispute resolution mechanism. And if you see the court system in India, we have topmost court in our country, that is Supreme Court, and top court of every state we have like high courts, and we have district courts or subordinate courts at the district level. And if you see the problems in our judiciary, one important problem is there is increased pendency of cases. So because of increased pendency of cases, justice delivered is late. There is delay in justice delivery system. So as there is a one famous saying, that is justice delayed is justice denied, right? So here this article is saying that because of these problems in our court system, there is increasing of pendency of cases, delay in this justice delivery, and even there are lots of times we have vacancies in our justice system as well. So because of this, justice is not properly delayed. To overcome all these problems, we have a solution. That solution is alternate dispute resolution mechanism. So here you have to see what is alternate dispute resolution mechanism, and you have to see the types or examples of this alternate dispute resolution mechanisms that we have. And next you have to see what are the advantages of this ADR, and next one is what are the challenges. So this is very, very important from your polity and governance point of view, guys. And now let us see this article clearly. So ADR, that is nothing but alternate dispute resolution mechanism. It is a dispute resolution, and actually it is mainly focusing on working cooperatively to reach the best resolution for everyone. So actually if there is any family disputes we have, so normally what happens, do we go to courts directly? No. So one person who will be acting as a mediator and he will be resolving that dispute, right? So that mechanism is called as ADR system. And in this ADR system, we have normally 4 types of ADRs. First one is arbitration. So arbitration is nothing but we are not going directly to the courts. There will be small tribunals. So you will be going to the tribunals and we are going to resolve our issue in this tribunals. And whatever the award, whatever the judgment they are giving, that is final and binding in these tribunals. That is called as arbitration. And next one is conciliation. Conciliation is nothing but we'll go to an impartial third party. That third party member is called as conciliator. And if the parties, they are going to this conciliator, and if they are going for getting certain judgment regarding this conciliation, so what happens? Now this both parties, they have to accept that and it will be final and binding. And this one is we have mediation. Mediation is nothing but one mediator will be there. So one person will be appointing as mediator and he will be going to that family and here this family, and he will be mediating the issues and the problems from both the sides. That is called as mediation. Normally we will see this in our normal families as mediators. And next one is negotiation. Negotiation is nothing but we will be having a third party, and in this third party they will go for dispute resolution, and that person will be trying to convince this 2 sides. That is called as negotiation. So especially negotiation will be occurs in business if there is any sharing or profit related issues or loss related issues, or non-profit organizations, government branches, or marriage, divorce, parenting, everyday life, will go for negotiation. And what are the advantages of this? The first one is we can decrease the pendency of cases so that we can reduce the burden on these judges and as well as our entire judicial system. And next one is we can go for easy resolution of issues within a very short time frame rather than waiting for years. And next one is it will be also cost effective process. If you want to go to the court, you have to go for appointing a lawyer, and as well as a tedious paperwork will be necessary. But here it is not like that. It is very cost effective, and it also provides flexibility to the parties to decide the procedure rules and as well as even experts. And next one here is even for this arbitration and mediation, we have international acceptance as well. So even they had been recognized under several treaties. So because of this, we are having lots of advantages regarding this ADR because of this problems that we are facing in our Indian judicial system. So this is very, very important, guys. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching, and please do like this class and share this class to your friends. And from today onwards we are going to continue in this format. Okay, thank you so much guys.